Hi, welcome to Carolyn with a K's Kitchen. I'm here today to show you how to make plum preserves. Wait, don't worry, it's not going to be difficult. No sterilizing of bottles, no pouring of hot wax, and no turning over the jars till they settle. This is going to be easy and it's going to be a lot of fun. First, I'd like to say hello to Allie in Vermont, Ryan in New York City, Lindsay in Ridgewood, New Jersey, and Zach in Queenstown, South Island, New Zealand. What a mouthful is that? Okay, so fall is coming on, and this is the time to go to your farmer's market. And at my farmer's market, I've got two kinds of plums. First, the small size. This is an example of that. And this is the large size. They're both the same. I asked the farmer about the difference, and he said they taste the same. The small one, it's just a little bit harder to get the seeds out. You have to take your time in cutting them apart. As you can see, I'm cutting this one here. And then, of course, the big one, wow, look at this. This is a slam dunk. No big problem in cutting this apart. You got to be careful, though, because sometimes the seed comes out. But just flip it out like that. There you go. And then we take the apples. Now, these are apples from my own apple tree out in my yard. I like it so much. They don't look beautiful, but they're tart and they have a lot of pectin. Although apples don't look beautiful, I once heard that a friend of mine said she would absolutely eat an apple that had a worm in it. She wouldn't eat the worm, but she said, you know that no self-respecting worm would go into an apple that was covered with insecticide. Anyway, then you take your apple, you cut it into quarters, and then I would slice it very thin, like this. You want the apple to dissolve in with the plums. Then you take your plums, add those into a pot. Oh, by the way, this is my pot. I suggest you use a large pot with a thick bottom, particularly because these plums, I'm going to be cooking them, and when they get hot and when the sugar gets on them, they're going to spurt up. And if you have a small pot, you will get burned. I've done it, so that's what I'm telling you not to do that. So add your plums and put it on low, because we want to try to cook these without any water. And you can cook it without water as long as you cook it slowly and let the juices of the plum come out and the juices of the apple. I'm putting my apple in also. And just be sure you cut them up nicely. They don't have to be that small, because the cooking is going to break them all down. So we've got them in the pot, and we're going to leave that for a little bit. Thank you. I'll be right back. Hi, can you believe it? I'm back. I've been cooking the plums with a few apple slices for quite a while, and I'm waiting it to be up to 220 degrees. Let me show you what it looks like. Isn't it gorgeous? It's a mixture of magenta, purple. Oh, I think that you can think of so many words for this color, and it's beautiful. But just wait until the magic happens when I put the sugar in, because then it will be absolutely gorgeous. So it's up to, let me check it, okay, 210. Now the question is, how much sugar do you put in? That's always been the question. I'm not fond of a lot of sugar, and I like my preserves a little tart. So I'm going to start with a third of a cup of sugar. In it goes. I'm looking at it, and I'm making a judgment. I'm taking another third of a cup, and that's going to be the end of it. Put in the sugar. I also add a half a teaspoon of salt, and then keep it stirring, and then I grab a lemon. Try not to get any pits in. So I'm putting in lemon and I'm putting in sugar. They counteract each other, but lend a special sweetness and tartness to these preserved plums that is the only way that you can get it. It's just the only way. Oh, and this lemon has lots of juice in it. Oh, that's a great lemon. I'm actually going to do the next one too. Now, I know you're wondering why I'm not sterilizing the jars, because I am going to put this in the freezer. So I don't mean to keep it for very long. I mean to have it for a couple of months in the freezer. And now it's starting to spit. It's doing exactly what I said. Just a second, I got to get a cover. Oh my gosh, there. The sweetness from the plums, the sweetness from the sugar, and the heat causes it to splatter. And it is really super hot when it splatters. But again, I have to get it up to 220 degrees. So I'm really cooking it and stirring it and looking at it. It's really pretty. And wait until you taste it. Now look at the color. Everything is deepened. The magenta, the purple, the whole basis of it, the lilac. I don't know if it's lilac exactly. I was thinking of a color that's closer to red. Anyway, I think it's a magnificent color. So now it's done. We've reached 220. We actually are a little higher than 220 degrees. And I'm going to be super careful with it. I'm getting my jars ready. Did I explain why I put in a little bit of salt? I don't think I did. I think when all sweet things, you need to put in a little salt. Salt seems to bring out the sweetness. These are my jars, and the process is quite simple. I just scoop it up, pour it into the jars like this. Oh my gosh, the beauty of these plums is just beautiful. Nothing is like them. Nothing is like these plums. You know, you may be sorry to say goodbye to all the strawberries, but saying hello to these plums is just great. I love it. I remember my father used to bring home plums like this from the market in downtown St. Louis. And he used to say, "I've got the damson plums, dear." That meant you were going to make some damson plum preserves. So this is it. So you just fill the jars to whatever they want. Wait till it cools, not when it's hot. Simply cap it when it's cool, like that, and put it in the freezer. And you have damson plums. Thank you. See you the next time at Carolyn with the Kitties Kitchen.